From SF Land, this is Dorking Out, a podcast for people who love to dork out about movies, TV, and everything pop culture.
Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield. And old man, if you give those dogs another piece of my food, I'm going to kick you till you're dead. Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margo D. Hello, my friend.
Sonia, your life is going into the toilet.
It really is. How'd you know? We are dorking out about 1987's Moonstruck. This is going to be so fun. Starring Cher, Nicolas Cage, Danny Aiello. Yeah, R.I.P. Vincent Gardenia and Olympia Dukakis. It's written by John Patrick Stanley, and it's directed by Norman Jewison. And this is going to be really good. Margo, did you see Moonstruck in the theater?
I don't think I did. I have no memory of it. I know. I saw it after it came out. I saw it, I think, on VHS when it came out. And I fell in love with it immediately, and then I became obsessed with it. And I've seen it 100 times, 200 times. I don't know. I've seen this movie so many times, not in a long time, at least 10 years. So it was really fun to watch it last night. But I'm a big Moonstruck lover.
Yeah, I definitely saw it in the theater because I think Siskel and Ebert gave it like a really, really good review on their show. And I was like, ooh, I want to see that. So, then I might ask my mom, like, do you want to go see Moonstruck with me? Because I would have been like 16 when it came out or something. And she's like, that doesn't seem like a movie a 16-year-old girl would ask to see. But we went to go see it, and I super loved it. And I think I rented it like a million times. And I hadn't seen it in a while, but during the rewatch, I was like, oh, I've seen this a lot. Like, I remembered so much of it. And I just love it. I still just love it. I have such like a warm feeling for this movie.
It's so good. It's got great acting, great writing, beautiful locations, and it's like an hour and a half. There's no wasted scene in this movie. It all needs to be there, and it all makes sense, and it's just chock full of great actors from all different ages. It's incredible.
Right? It's not about like super young, beautiful people.
Right.
Everybody, I mean, Nicolas Cage is young in it, but he's
and
not
beautiful.
But he's not playing someone super young. He's I think he's 24 when they filmed it, but he's playing someone who's like in his 30s or something at least.
I think so, because Cher was 41.
Yeah.
And then, oh God, how beautiful is Cher in this movie?
She's so beautiful. Has she ever been more beautiful? She's gorgeous.
She's so insanely beautiful.
Yeah, she gets a makeover in this movie, and I'm kind of a sucker for any movie that's got like a makeover scene. And her makeover's so good. She looks, and she's got the biggest hair. It's so big.
It's big 80s curly hair.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And Cher was like 5'9" or 5'10". She's very tall, super slender. So everything looked good on her, like no matter what. So here's my question.
Yeah.
I've lived in Brooklyn now 25 years. That'll be my anniversary is coming up.
Okay.
That I moved to New York from the Bay Area. What do you think of her accent?
Oh, I mean, to me, it seems legit, but I have no idea because I've only been to Brooklyn once.
That's right. You've been to my place. That's right.
That's right.
When we hung out.
What do you think about the accent?
I super loved it before. Watching it last night, I was like, is it Brooklyn? It's not my favorite thing, but it's consistent.
Yeah.
And she's the same as everybody else. So yeah.
I love that it's a movie about Italians that doesn't involve the mob.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
What a treat. It's also a romantic comedy that's actually, I think, pretty romantic.
It's super romantic. And Cher is 41. Nicolas Cage is 23.
23.
Like, she's getting a super younger guy, which I love.
But it's not even a thing. There's no mention of this at all. Like I don't know if he's playing someone who's a little older, because Danny Aiello's character, he's 50. So
yeah,
Ronnie, that's the Nicolas Cage character. He must be like in his 30s or something. That would be quite the age difference.
It's a huge age difference on that end. But I mean, it's actually in real life, it's much more. They're like 30 years apart in age. So, but the movie doesn't like take any time to like explain it. And that's okay, because you just like the performances and you like the people. So it's totally, I don't know. I love that that's never mentioned that he's so much younger than her. I mean, it's just accepted that they love each other.
Yeah, and it happens really fast. And
everything happens fast in this movie.
I'm totally in. Like I said, it's a romantic comedy that's actually romantic, and it's actually comedic. It's like, what? Yeah. Imagine, it's so crazy. It's a romantic comedy that's actually funny. And it doesn't involve like a chase scene or running through an airport. It's pretty funny.
Or mistaken identity or anything like that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. None of that. Should we just start from the beginning?
Yeah.
Let's just run through it a little bit. So Cher plays Loretta, whose husband passed away. He was hit by a bus like 2 years into their marriage, and now she's been alone for 7 years.
She got married later. I mean, she's 41. So she got married, I guess, in her 30s, and then he died.
Right.
And then they didn't have kids. So it's just her.
Yeah. And she's living with her parents, and that's Vincent Gardenia and Olympia Dukakis. And Olympia Dukakis is like amazing in this movie. She's so great.
And I should just...
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm so sorry. My friend Laura, they live on, this is on Cherry Street or Cranberry Street. That's where they live. Mm-hmm. My friend lives on Pineapple Street. So she's 2 blocks away from this house. Ooh, my friend Laura.
How close are you?
I could run there. If I could run, I could run there. I have an ankle injury, but it's very, very close. I could bike there very quickly.
Yes.
And it's still there. The house is still there. That house is worth, in today's dollars, $3 million.
Yes.
It's Brooklyn Heights. It's a view of Manhattan that's insane. It's just the Brooklyn Heights neighborhood is just it's very famous for being very quiet and beautiful, and it's just such a slice of heaven, this movie.
It really is. I love looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so gorgeous to look at. So she works as an accountant for like local businesses and stuff like that. She's very like set in her ways. She seems pretty reserved. She's very did I say matter of fact? She's just very matter of fact, very honest, very direct, not a romantic person, let's just say.
She's pragmatic.
Yes, that's a better word. Thank you. And she's out to dinner with Johnny Camerari. That's Danny Aiello. And she doesn't love him, but she likes him all right. And he asks her to marry him, and she says yes. And then he hops on a plane to go visit his dying mother in Sicily. And I actually love the scene so much where he gets on the plane, and then the old woman's like, "You got someone on that plane?" And she's all, "Yes, my fiance." And she's like, "I put a curse on that plane." It made me laugh out loud. It was so funny. And then she tells the story about how her sister is on that plane, and her sister stole her man 1,000,000 years ago, and not because she loved him, but just because she could. And I put a curse on that plane. So then she goes home and tells her parents, and Olympia Dukakis plays Rose, that's her mother, and says, like, it's good that you don't love him, because when you love him, like, they just drive you crazy. It's good to just like them. And I love their reactions too, as she says, like, "I'm getting married," and both of them are like, "Again?" Like, like they're not excited or happy for her or anything. It's just like, where's the ring? And what's the dad say? "It looks stupid. It looks like a pinky ring." And it is a pinky ring. It's not the most romantic proposal in the world, that's for sure.
No, he asks her, and she goes, "Yes, I will. Yes, I will marry you."
Yeah,
It's very formal.
it's very formal.
Yeah.
And that's where we first see John Mahoney is also in this movie, and he plays a New York University professor who continues to date his students. It's really it's pretty gross.
Which is pretty creepy for today's standards,
Yes.
but for the time, that was a plot point that they used, and it's one of his first big roles.
Yes. So I think Say Anything would have been the following year, and then Frasier and all that stuff. So
right.
He keeps dating these girls who are too young for him. So at the restaurant, like some girl like throws a drink in his face and runs out of the restaurant, and he always says the same thing about like remove all traces of her and bring me a giant glass of vodka. And he's there too, so we'll see him again later. And then Loretta goes home and she tells them all that she's getting married, and they're like, meh. But Johnny asks her to go see his brother, because apparently Johnny and his brother Ronnie had a falling out like 5 years ago. And he's like, invite him to the wedding, try to mend this break between them. And she shows up, and the brother is Nicolas Cage, looking like he's just very young, and he's very handsome. I think
he's so handsome. Yeah.
He's played so many kooks and weirdos, and he makes such weird choices, and he does in this movie too, but he's a very handsome man.
He's a very traditionally handsome man. He has beautiful eyes. He has a beautiful body. Mm-hmm. Like he's cut. And he plays a baker, and unfortunately that bakery doesn't exist anymore. I know. But it's all this is filmed in Brooklyn and Manhattan. But he lost his hand, or he had it in an accident.
Yes.
So he always has it in a glove, and that's like his big thing. And he and Loretta, she invites him to the wedding. He screams at her and he yells at her, but they have a lot of spark between them.
Yes. I love that they go upstairs to his apartment, and they're going to have some coffee, and she just makes a mistake, which is like such like, I don't know, an old-fashioned lady thing to do. It's like she's like, I'm going to make you a steak. And he's like, well, I like it well done. And she's like, you'll eat it rare to feed your blood. Like, she just tells him, like, that's the way it's going to be. And then he eats it, and he's like, it's pretty good. And they have this good talk, and they clearly have this connection. Like, I don't know, they both lost something, and then they kind of find it in each other, I guess. They seem like a mismatch, but I actually think they're a really good match. They temper each other, I guess. They're a good fit.
Like my Andy Kay would say, there's a lid for every pot, and and he sweeps her in his arms.
Yes,
and then takes her to bed.
Yes, he literally sweeps her off her feet,
which is so great. Yes. I mean, it's just
I love it when she fine, just do it, just take me to bed. Fine. You're mad at him. Take it all out on me.
And she's accepting of it, so she's okay. And then she goes back to the house, and she lives with her parents and also her grandfather, who takes care of all the dogs in the house.
God, the dog stuff is so funny.
I love the dog stuff. It's just so great. And the actor is Russian, I think, or his father was a Russian opera singer. And he takes them out, and he's always just like he's very imperious, and he's just has these dogs with him. And then her parents are sort of, I don't think she tells him right away that she had sex with him. No. But then she has, he wants to take her out, Nicolas Cage, and he says, I'm going to take you to the opera. And she's like, I don't know. And she says, okay, fine, I'll go with you. And she decides, well, her hair is graying and she needs an outfit. So she goes and gets a makeover. I love the makeover scene so much.
Me too.
She just, because she's reluctant, but at the same time, she realizes she needs to up her game. And she gets a beautiful dress, and she gets the hair, and then she shows up at Lincoln Center. And New York, I live in New York. Lincoln Center is just everything. And every time I go there, I have to go by the fountains. And I always think of Moonstruck.
Yeah.
And just how beautiful it all is.
I think I have a new appreciation now that I actually got to go to New York.
Yeah.
to see it. I'm like, I get it. I get it now.
Did you go to Lincoln Center?
I don't remember. So I don't think we did go to the Met. So yes.
Mm. No, it's a little farther away.
Okay,
Sorry.
then probably
I'll
not.
Take it. I'll take you next time you go. You guys come out here.
Yes.
But it's so beautiful, and to see an opera at the Met. Some operas are really tough to sit through. Just trust me. I mean, I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
But the Met makes it all special. I mean, it's just people do get dressed up.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful place. And are they seeing La Boheme? I mean,
yes, that's right.
Yeah. And they fall in love watching this opera.
Yeah.
And then she sees her father there with his girlfriend.
It's really shitty. It's so shitty.
Yeah.
Like, what a punch in the gut for her for that kind of evening. I wanted to talk about her makeover. I love that the makeover it's not terribly outrageous. It's
No.
No, they just they colored her hair and she decided to wear some makeup and then she treats herself to a beautiful dress. It's not super it's not and now I've changed my complete personality and I'm something different. It's not that. It's a makeover a real person would get, which I super love. And she looks amazing and I love her dress and the color is gorgeous. It's this burgundy. It looks so beautiful on her. And I just love how they're super dressed up for the opera. He's wearing a tux. Yeah. She's super dressed up. And we have theater here in San Francisco. It's not as nice as the ones in New York, but they're nice theaters and we get good productions. And when I go to the shows here, and I've been to the opera here and I've been to the symphony here, I always dress up. Dress up. And I show up and people here are wearing fucking jeans or shorts. No. And I'm it bums me out. It feels disrespectful.
It's totally disrespectful to the space. I always I go there or Carnegie Hall. Even if I'm wearing just a pantsuit, it's a nice pantsuit. You know what I mean? You have to zhuzh yourself up a little bit. And I think she like you said, it's just a basic dress, but it's really nice. The shoes are great.
Yes.
I mean, she just looks so beautiful, and they totally connect during this opera, and they hold hands or hand, mm-hmm. and they. And then it becomes I love, everybody talks about the scene. And so I saw that today. Cher won the Oscar, by the way, for this performance. And in the Oscar, during the ceremony, they show the performances of all the women, and there's Glenn Close, Meryl Streep, Holly Hunter. It's just top-notch women. But when they play Cher's clip, and it's the scene where Nicolas Cage says, "I love you," mm-hmm. and she slaps him across the face and says, "Snap out of it," which is one of my mother's favorite expressions ever. The whole audience cracks up. It's just such an iconic scene, and it's just so unexpected. Mm-hmm. Their whole relationship is unexpected, but you root for it.
Yes. And it's also, we should mention, she won, Olympia Dukakis won, the script won, and it is very unusual for comedies to win anything at the Oscars.
Anything, right.
So the idea that you could there's more to Cher's performance than just comedy, obviously, but this movie is a romantic comedy, and for her to win Best Actress and in that company, like you said, Glenn Close for Fatal Attraction, Holly Hunter for Broadcast News, Meryl Streep for Ironweed. That movie's hilarious.
Can you sit through that movie, by the way?
No,
I have tried a few times. And I'm just this bums the shit out of me. I can't do it. No.
And it's not that she's not amazing in it. Meryl Streep is always
amazing.
She's
always good. Yeah, she's always good. But it's just no, thank you.
No. I could sit through we have sat through Fatal Attraction again. Yep. I'll watch Broadcast News every day if you want me to.
And we'll talk about that soon.
Yeah. And Sally Kirkland is the other person who is nominated. And she's nominated for a movie called Anna that I've never seen. But
I like Anna, actually. It's a weird movie. Paulina Porizkova she's this woman that comes from Czechoslovakia, and Sally Kirkland is also an actress from Czechoslovakia, and they become friends, and she takes her in, and then Paulina gets like a total makeover, and she gets her teeth done and shit, and she becomes a famous movie star. And Sally Kirkland was already an actress, but she's very jealous because this younger woman is taking her spot.
Ooh.
It's a really interesting movie. We should do it sometime.
Yeah, maybe I'll watch it.
Super, super interesting. But anyway.
Yeah,
but
Cher, we're talking about Moonstruck.
Moonstruck. I mean, as soon as they play that scene, it got the biggest laugh. It's got the biggest reaction from the audience. I mean, and Cher showed up with her bagel boy. Remember that? She dated a guy who was a bagel guy.
That's right.
Rob?
Yes. That's right. I totally remember that. And when did, is this she's wearing the crazy outfit, right?
Right, because.
With the headdress and everything?
Well, no, that was the year before. So
Ooh,
Cher was in a movie in 85 that was called Mask, which we should definitely do one day, because I've seen that movie like 200 times. And she had a problem with Peter Bogdanovich. It was like a troubled production, but I think it's a good movie. But she thought she was going to be nominated for that performance, and she wasn't. So when they had the Oscars the following year, she's like, I'll wear the craziest shit to mankind, so everybody's going to talk about me. Nobody talks about anybody else who won that year. It was just her. And then she made Witches of Eastwick, something with Liam Neeson, and then Moonstruck. And then she was nominated for Moonstruck. And so she wore a slightly less crazy outfit, but it was very, very revealing. I mean, she had a body that was slamming.
Yeah, she still does.
She still does. She made workout videos and stuff like that. Like, she was looking hot. So anyway, what was the point of this conversation? Anyway, she was a big deal. Everyone was rooting for Cher.
Yes. Yeah, of course you would.
Yeah.
And I guess 2 years later was the if I could turn back time, and she's in that, and she's practically naked in the video, and once again, she looks amazing in it, and she's wearing this crazy see-through outfit that's I don't know, it looks like it's taped together.
And she has a tattoo on her butt.
Yes.
And no shame in her game. She's like, yeah, take a look at my ass.
So she just did a show recently, and a friend of mine went, and he said that she wore that outfit. And I was like, it's probably the same outfit. She could probably still just fit into the outfit from 30 years ago. She's crazy. Like
I said, she's like model slim. She's very tall and slim. She looks great in clothes. I mean, you can put something crazy on her, and you're going like, oh, okay, that's an outfit. Another other person that would wear that outfit would look like an insane person.
Mm-hmm. Can you imagine if I showed up in that to work? Hi, everybody. Hi.
No, just if Jennifer Aniston, let's just say,
right,
showed up in that kind of an outfit, I mean, she'd be laughed out of Hollywood. But Cher doesn't, and people go, oh, okay.
That's true. Well, she's got a very funny personality. Jennifer Aniston does not have that. That is for sure. And we're going to have a whole separate conversation sometime about Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt. That's stuff that I was tweeting to you. I was like, I don't even know what's happening right now.
I have to say, so they hung out at the SAG Awards for a second, and everybody's like, oh, they could get back together. In my fan fiction, she leaves the awards, she goes home, she doesn't think about him for a fucking second. Yeah. She's on to the next thing. They broke up, guys. Get over it.
And he cheated on her.
He fucked it up.
You guys, why do you want them back together? I thought you liked Jennifer Aniston. Don't you want her to be happy? You want her to be with a dude who cheated on her?
Okay, permission to gossip?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so I heard this on another podcast. I think it was My Favorite Murder. But Karen Kilgariff was friends with somebody who was a writer for Friends. And when Brad pulled that shit on Jennifer, he was on location.
Yeah.
Jennifer had her assistants take all of his clothing and donate it to a local thrift store.
Nice.
So he had Armani, really nice, fitted everything. She had it all donated. She's like, fuck you.
Good for her.
And I said that too. Good for her.
Yeah. I think people, do they want her just to be some doormat? Come on.
No, people just like them together, but Brad fucked it up. That's my whole speech.
He 100% fucked it up.
Yeah. And she doesn't need kids or anything, so she can do it on her own.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that she donated his stuff. That's very nice of her.
Exactly.
Yeah. I had a boyfriend.
Anyway.
I had a boyfriend that I broke up with because he cheated on me, and he had shit in my apartment, and I was like, you need to come and get your shit out of my apartment. And then I was like, I bundled it all up, and then I told him, I was like, you actually need to come and get your shit today because I'm throwing it outside and I just like put it like outside my apartment. I was like, there was a free bench like inside my building, and I was like, all your shit's on the free bench. You better come and get it. I was like, I don't give a fuck. Like,
good for you.
Yeah, I was like, fuck you. Also, when I broke up with him, I threw him out of my apartment and I made him he had like some fancy frying pan. And I was like, and take your fucking fancy frying pan. And then he's like, he's such a loser. He didn't have a car. He's like waiting at the bus stop with like a frying pan.
Shit. From the free bench?
Yeah. I'm like, fuck you. Anyway.
You did way better.
Yeah, I did. We're talking about Moonstruck. Sorry.
Yeah.
So speaking of bad breakups, so Cher's at the opera with Ronnie and they're falling in love and it's really sweet and they look so beautiful. And she runs into her dad and his fiance or his lover, his
side piece,
his little side piece, and that's super awkward. Meanwhile, Olympia Dukakis went to the Italian restaurant to eat like a quiet meal. And she watches, once again, another young student throw a drink in John Mahoney's face.
And she feels bad for him.
Yeah.
And so she's totally prepared to like sit and eat by herself.
Yes.
And then I'm one of those people, like I can totally sit and eat by myself. I'm totally okay.
I do stuff like that all the time.
Yeah, but if like I saw him, I'd be like, all right. And so she asks him to sit with her.
I love that oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I love that immediately she's just super honest with him. He's like, I don't know why that happened. And she's like, because she's too young for you.
Yeah.
Like, she's not a bullshitter.
No. Olympia Dukakis, by the way, so good in this movie. Mm-hmm. Everybody's good in this movie, by the way. There's nobody that's bad in this movie.
No.
But her and Cher, and she's only like 15 years older than Cher.
That's so crazy.
But that's what they do in Hollywood sometimes. Yeah. But all the ages are crazy here because Danny Aiello is like 30 years older than Nicolas Cage, who's his younger brother. I'm like, yeah, a lot younger. I mean, whatever. But anyway, so she's just very smart and once again, very pragmatic. And they have a nice dinner. And then he realizes like, oh, I can be with a woman around my age and have a nice time. And it's so sweet, like walking her home. Mm-hmm. And then she goes, and she knows her husband's probably cat birding or whatever they call it. Yeah.
Catting around.
And so the dad comes home and then Cher comes home. And so what happens is that Danny Aiello's mother in Sicily, that psycho, is having like a total conniption in her bed about him. She starts to feel better. She's not going to die. So Danny Aiello comes home and says to Cher, hey, my mother's not going to die now, so I don't have to get married. Such an asshole.
Such a dick.
But that makes it easier. Yeah.
It's so, I actually really, I love the scene. So all this happens like around the family table.
Yes.
At breakfast the next day. So like, Cher spends the night at Nicolas Cage's apartment. She walks home. Very famous scene of her like kicking the can, and she looks all beautiful and stuff because she's happy. And she gets home, and Olympia Dukakis is there, and like your life's going down the toilet. All that.
Such a great scene.
It's so funny. And she now learns that Johnny Camerari is back, and he's going to come over, and then just all the shit starts to hit the fan at this point. Like then Nicolas Cage shows up and like meets her parents, and then the aunt and uncle show up, and everybody's there, and they're like, "What are we waiting for?" And they're like, "For Johnny to show up." And then Johnny shows up and does the whole, my mom's not dying now, I can't marry you because if I marry you, my mom will die or something. And Ronnie's like, you're still letting mom control your life. It's like they're arguing with him even though it's the outcome they want. It's really funny. And then and then Olympia Dukakis tells Cosmo, her husband, not to cheat on her anymore. And it's such a weird scene because she's like, I don't want you seeing her anymore. And he's like, he gets like, he's mad and he like slams his hands down and he's like, okay.
It's a very quick scene. There's a lot going on here. And apparently the director, Norman Jewison, he blocked it. Like they rehearsed it and rehearsed it, and he was fine because he wouldn't let the actors go get a meal or something. Like they had to. He wanted them emotionally to be at a because it's a very quick scene. It's like 10 minutes. Like all this happens very quickly. The grandfather comes down. That's my favorite thing. He sits at the table, and then all of a sudden he starts crying. I'm like, "What's wrong?" He goes, "I'm confused."
I wrote that in my notes. I was like, "Dude, I've totally been there."
Been there. There's like all shit happening at the table, and you're like, "Wait, what? Where did this go?"
But
this is crazy.
It's such a good ending, like such a good happy end for everyone because they're all like excited now. Loretta and Ronnie, who really love each other, are going to get married, and Johnny's kind of sitting off to the side, and he's sad, and like the grandfather like brings him in, like, "You're family now too. We're all family." And they and that makes him happy, and they all like cheers together. It's a really lovely ending.
This is my mom's favorite line. Olympia Dukakis says to Cher, "Do you love him?" She goes, "Mom, I love him awful." She goes, "Oh, it's too bad." She's right. It's wonderful, but it's also like, oh yeah.
Between this character and her character in Steel Magnolias,
which was your day, absolutely.
Like Olympia Dukakis is like the coolest. She's played like two of the best characters ever.
Funny, wise, dependable. She's so funny.
God, I love her so much. We need to talk about Steel Magnolias sometime too.
We have to go in there someday. But yeah, it's a wonderful movie, and it's a wonderful love letter to Brooklyn. And it's a Brooklyn that doesn't. I live in Brooklyn now. It's a Brooklyn that doesn't exist anymore, really. Like a lot of the locations are gone, except for the house, and the accents are very different now. So it's a very specific time, and it's just. But it really holds up. It's very timeless. Yes. I mean. I super loved it. I watched last night. I was never bored for a second. It actually goes by really fast.
It does. It's a tight movie.
Yeah.
I think you said, it's, I'm looking it up right now, 102 minutes.
Yeah.
And there's not a wasted scene. And it's just like a joy from beginning to end. And like you said, everyone's so great in it.
Everyone's wonderful, and the music's really good, and the locations look great, and Cher is so beautiful. I mean, she's just at her peak, and everyone's so good at it. Danny Aiello, by the way, doesn't like his performance because he hates his character. R.I.P. He's such a wuss.
He is a wuss,
but he is a wuss. Yeah,
I think it's funny. Cosmo describes him as a big baby. I think that's a really good description. Like, he is a big baby. He can't do anything for himself. He doesn't think for himself. He needs women to kind of tell him what to do. But he's not, there's no real villain in the movie. Everyone's a good person. It's just a good, funny, romantic movie. Do you think Loretta and Ronnie are still together?
Oh, absolutely.
They're in love.
And if she can't have kids, they adopt them. And I think they have a lot of them.
Yeah. So she's like, "I'm 37. I can't have babies." I'm like,
dude.
37 is like
and
young.
All I can think of is that house and how big that house is and how much room is in there.
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys, you're sitting on a gold mine.
I know.
I mean, wait 5 years and sell it. You're going to be set for life.
Oh, back then, 37 was too old to have babies, and now everyone's having them in their 40s.
And 37 meant a thing. Like 37 now, I'm like, I don't even know what that means.
Right.
Like Jennifer Aniston was just talking about, she's 50, and she just won an award. I'm like, she looks the same that she did at 30.
So crazy.
Yeah.
If I could turn back time. That's my Cher impression.
And I love Cher, and I love Cher on Twitter. Cher on Twitter is just a thing of magic. She's so funny and so smart.
She is a national treasure.
She certainly is. I love her music. I love everything about her.
I think she's rad.
Yeah.
We have done 87 movies before. So I went to find out what else was nominated for Oscars that year.
Oh, okay.
Would you like to hear some of that?
Yes, I would.
Okay. So Moonstruck was nominated for Best Picture. Also nominated was Hope and Glory. Did you ever see that? I think it was a World War II movie, right?
I don't even know that one. Sorry.
And then Fatal Attraction.
Yep.
Which is pretty good. Broadcast News.
I stupid love Broadcast News. I've seen that so many times. I know that whole movie back and forth. Yeah. I love that movie.
Albert Brooks in Broadcast News is one of my all-time favorite performances. I think he's the best thing ever in that movie.
Yeah.
I love him so much. And the winning Best Picture was The Last Emperor.
Which I've never seen, I'll be honest with you.
It's fine. It's totally one of those movies that wins awards.
But nobody talks about it now, do they?
No. No. But it's, when if you saw like 10 minutes of it, you'd be like, oh, yeah, okay. Like, it's that kind of movie. And it was directed by Bernardo Bertolucci, and he won Best Director.
Bernardo Bertolucci, yes.
God, I suck.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I'm thankful for you. So, Best Actor was Michael Douglas for Wall Street.
I love Wall Street, by the way. That's another movie I know inside and out.
I haven't seen that one, I don't think, since the theater.
Oh, dude, we have to talk about that one.
Yeah, that would be a good one to revisit.
Yeah.
Did you see the sequel too?
It's not good.
Yeah, it didn't look that good.
No.
Also nominated was William Hurt for Broadcast News.
Yep.
Marcello Mastrantonio.
Marcello Mastrantonio.
Yeah. For a movie called Dark Eyes. I never saw that.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Jack Nicholson for your favorite movie, Ironweed. And Robin Williams for Good Morning Vietnam. That's really good.
That's a good movie. I mean, yeah, that's a good movie. And he is breaking a sweat in that movie. Robin Williams is doing so much for the money there.
Mm-hmm. He's working hard.
Yeah.
We already did Best Actress. Best Supporting Actor nominated was Denzel Washington for Cry Freedom. Vincent Gardenia for Moonstruck.
Oh,
yeah, I know. Morgan Freeman for Street Smart.
I don't even know what that is.
I think he played a pimp in it.
Oh, great.
And Christopher Reeve is a reporter, I think. Yes. Ha! I'm so smart. Albert Brooks for Broadcast News. One of my favorite
so good in that movie.
And Sean Connery for The Untouchables.
Okay. Albert Brooks was robbed. And I love Sean Connery and I love The Untouchables. Mm-hmm. Anytime you want to talk about The Untouchables, I'm totally on board.
I love
one of my favorite movies. It's such a good movie. Sean Connery's great. Why did they give him an Irish accent? Just teach him a Chicago accent.
Yeah.
Why did you Irish? It ain't Irish.
It's so weird. You and I did an episode about like movies that were based on true stories.
Did we?
Or something? Was that me and you? Wasn't that me and you?
I don't think so.
Are you sure? Anyway,
no.
I rewatched The Untouchables for it, and it's super entertaining, and it's really good. But Sean Connery, this was one of those like lifetime achievement Oscars where it's like we liked you in other things,
which is fine. The character is great, and he's really good in it. It's just his accent is not good.
No,
that's all. But that movie, I super love. Everybody in it is great. I think it's just one of De Palma's best.
Yeah. And then there's Best Supporting Actress. It's like a who's who of it's Anne Southern for Whales of August.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't know what that is. Actually, this one's funny. Anne Ramsey for Throw Mama from the Train.
Erwin! That's actually a funny movie.
It is a funny movie. Anne Archer for Fatal Attraction. And
she was great in that.
Yeah. And then Norma Aleandro for Gabby, A True Story. I don't know what that is.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what that is.
I don't either. I'm actually glossing over it right now, and it just says it's an American Mexican drama biographical film.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what
know
that
it.
is.
And then Olympia Dukakis won.
Yeah. She's great.
Yeah. And she's super amazing. And the screenplay won. And did it win for anything else? I don't think
No, that was it for that.
Yeah.
It was nominated for a bunch of things, but that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's if you haven't seen it in a while or you've never seen it, definitely check it out. It's really it totally holds up, and it's just so funny and smart and just wonderful.
Valentine's Day's coming up. Make it your Valentine's Day movie or something.
It's romantic. It's so romantic.
It is. It's beautiful to look at.
Okay.
Go for it.
Yeah. So do you want to hear about the top songs of 87? I know we talked about them before, but I just picked a bunch that I just thought were interesting and that meant something to me. So U2, I still haven't found what I'm looking for.
That song was insanely popular.
Oh
that
my
whole
God.
album was. You couldn't go anywhere.
No.
Without it playing.
Lisa and the Cult Jam, Head to Toe.
I love that song. It's a jam.
Fucking love it. George Michael, R.I.P. I Want Your Sex. That was a big deal.
Remember that song was like so dirty. What a dirty, dirty song.
It was the video that they all like, oh, this is so dirty.
And
I'm
now
like, are you guys kidding me?
Downright
tame.
Yeah, it's so tame compared to nowadays. But back in the day, it was such a big deal.
Expose, Let Me Be the One. I loved that song. Oh,
that's a good one.
I loved Expose. And Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up.
That's when everyone started rickrolling each other. Back in 87. Rick Astley's a trip. How does that voice come out of that dude?
And how is it all these years later, like it still resonates with people? Yeah.
I was quite the fan back in the day.
Oh, absolutely. I loved his songs.
Yeah. I love them all. I love Never Gonna Give You Up. And it was like one about like a strong man. I don't know. Anyway, I liked them.
Together Forever.
Yeah. That's the other one. That's the one I was trying to think of too.
I super love that song.
Now I'm going to go download some Rick Astley onto my playlist.
I was on Spotify and that's like my thing. Like at night, if I can't sleep, I just like pick up artists and I listen on Spotify and I dance around till I get tired and I go to bed.
Smart.
Yeah, you're welcome. Your imaginations, everybody listening to this. But anyway, my friend Deb talked to me and she sends me a text and she goes, I'm listening to Rex Smith right now. And he had a song, he's a 70s kind of pop star. And I said, oh my God, you don't understand this. I was listening to Andy Gibb the other night. She goes, yeah, I know, I was watching you. And all of your songs, you were listening on Andy Gibb. I could see on my Spotify.
That's hilarious.
And I'm like, it's hilarious, but it really embarrassed me. But Andy Gibb is awesome.
I love Andy Gibb songs.
Oh,
Shadow Dancing. I Want to Be Your Everything.
God. Oh, they're great pop songs.
They are
so
great
anyway,
pop songs.
Yeah, my friend Deb was like, yeah, we could totally see. I was watching you. Like, that's weird.
That's hilarious. I feel like almost every time you list songs for me after we're done recording, I add another song to a playlist. So I think it was like a couple weeks ago you mentioned Jody Watley. So then I put like a whole bunch of Jody Watley on my playlist. And I've been listening to Looking for a New Love by Jody Watley.
She's the best.
She is. She's dope. What else are you dorking out about?
So I was telling you, I was texting you in real time. I was getting my hair done the other day. It was on Martin Luther King Day, which was a holiday, and I got my hair straightened. And normally it only takes a couple of hours, but because it was a holiday, it was really overbooked at the salon I was at. So I was at the salon for almost 5 hours.
Oh my God, so long.
Oh, it's so long. And so, but the cool thing about the salon is they have these stations with iPads everywhere and they connect it to Netflix. So you can watch Netflix as you're getting your hair done, which is an amazing thing. And so I watched the last half of Marriage Story, which is...
Was it good?
It's fine. I mean, a part of me is just like, can somebody give Jennifer Jason Leigh a camera and a computer and have her film her version of what happened in their marriage?
I would watch the shit out of that.
Because I have questions about Greta Gerwig and her husband and when they really started. But anyway, it's fine. But then I was flipping around. Grace and Frankie dropped their new season.
Ah.
And that was my mom's favorite show, so I kind of avoided it for a while. And then I'm like, all right, I'll check it out now. It's great.
I'm so glad it's good.
Yeah, Jane Fonda's character, she marries Peter Gallagher, and it's Lily Tomlin is a fucking treasure.
Mm-hmm.
The cast in that show is so good. It's Martin Sheen, and it's just so many great people. And I downloaded the whole season. I just watched the whole season. It's like 6 or 8 episodes. I can forget which one, but it was really, really good. It was really fun. It was funny. It had a lot of heart to it. And there's just great writers like Marta, and I'm blanking on her last name, but she wrote for Friends. We were talking about Jennifer Aniston before, but it has great writers on there, and it was just really fun.
Oh, good.
It was just super great. And it's like the episodes are like 20 minutes apiece, and it just has a lot to say about older women and older people, and just like being vital still and having something to say. And I don't know, I just super loved it.
It's so funny that you watch that at a salon, because I feel like that's when I have not sat down and actually watched the show, but I've seen parts of episodes or entire episodes, and it's always at like a salon where I'm getting my nails done.
Yeah.
It's always on. They love it there.
And I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you don't have to watch from the beginning. You can kind of just jump in whenever.
I mean, I understood what was happening, even though I don't watch.
Totally understand it. Yeah, and it's just great writing, great jokes, a lot of heart to it, and it just kind of gives you hope about your life and your life in the future. And it's just kind of super wonderful. And that's Grace and Frankie. That's what I'm recommending. Yeah.
That's a good one. Are you watching The Outsider at all on HBO?
No, I will eventually.
Yeah.
I just haven't started it yet.
I started it and I like it, but it's the opposite of Grace and Frankie. It's dark and fucked up.
Yeah, to see.
But I actually have something more adorable that I was going to share, which is an Instagram recommendation, which I don't normally do. I got this from a friend, and it brightens my day every day, and it's just called Cutest Donkey. Cutest.donkey on Instagram, and every day it is new pictures or videos of donkeys. And they're adorable. I'm a donkey fan.
Donkey!
Yeah.
I
am a donkey fan. I actually donate to donkey rescues and stuff like that because I think they're so cute. I think they're really, cute. Really, really cute. And I just think I love looking at animal videos on Instagram because I am not a monster. And this is my latest one, Cutest Donkey. So cute.
I will check it out right away.
You should. It's really, really, really sweet. Where can people find you on the internet, Margo?
On social media, you can find me at Brooklyn Fitchick, and that's for Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm mostly active on Twitter and Instagram, and my blog is brooklynfitchick.com. And where can people find you?
You can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Twitter. And you can find both of us at What a Creep, our other podcast where we talk about creeps. That's hence the name. It's the biggest assholes, creeps, losers that you can think of. And we have a Patreon page. So if you go to Patreon.com/whatacreeppodcast, we have some really affordable options. We do special episodes. It doesn't sound like it's fun, but it's really fun. And if you're listening to this, you would probably really like that. So listen to that. And you can find Dorking Out at dorkingout.com and Dorking Out Show on Twitter. And it's on Facebook, but we're not very active there. And this was super fun. Thanks for talking about Moonstruck with me, Margo.
I want to get a makeover right now. Now that we talked about it, I just want to be in a salon and get the full works going.
Snap out of it.